Hi, I'm Paul Bowman, CEO of Wexer, the digital fitness specialists who deliver over 25 million fitness experiences per year for our partners worldwide. Welcome to the Wexer podcast, where I'll be speaking to industry experts to bring you insights and advice to support your business journeys. In today's episode, I'll be chatting with Austin Cohen, founder and CEO of Flexit Fitness. Austin, how are you?
Paul, I'm doing well. It is a pleasure to be speaking to you today, all the way across the world. You always do an incredible job at making sure that we never have any idea what time it is by you.
Yeah, I kind of, I just wake up to the US, kind of deal with APAC in the middle, and then go to bed. Europe. It doesn't matter where I'm in the world; it just rotates.
You just never sleep. The audience doesn't know it yet, but you just never sleep. So hopefully,
he needs it. You know what I mean? I'm in the wake of Elon, just trying to keep up with his outputs. Right?
You're getting close. We're getting close here.
So look, tell the audience, for the people that don't know yourself, let's probably focus on Flexit first. So what is Flexit?
So above everything, we are a set of technologies that are designed to deliver flexible, empowering experiences in the wellness industry for consumers all over the world. That's held true. That was our day one mission when we formed the company back in 2018, and we've rolled out a bunch of different business lines since then. The first business line being technology that was designed and optimized for brick and mortar clubs. We brought on most of the clubs in the United States. And since then, we've really focused on building out digital products that can be used at home, in the club, in your hotel, outside. But all of them tie back into helping people to have personalized, empowering, flexible fitness experiences. So today, what we're focused on predominantly is threefold. It's having access to work out wherever you are through our app. That can be through a gym. That can be through a trainer live. That can be through pre-recorded content. It's what we call interconnected health. So access to a one-on-one experience across multiple modalities. So we actually cover 28 modalities across 4 pillars: physical therapy, nutrition, right? We know it's not just what you're doing in the gym, but it's also what you're doing in the kitchen, low impact wellness, and the fitness training, of course. And then we're optimizing the integration of all sorts of products for companies. So we have an enterprise business. Companies includes clubs as well. So that's our focus today. Very bullish on the future of the industry and how it relates to health. So over time, we've evolved from being a fitness business to what I would describe as a holistic health business. And we're excited to continue to press the envelope there.
I'm very impressed with what you've done, but taking a step back, I always ask this to everyone. So did you find fitness, or did fitness find you, Austin? Give us a little bit of your background too, because you're a very humble guy, but you're a very smart guy too. So chucking a few nuggets for us.
That's one of those chicken or egg questions. When you grow up playing sports your whole life, and you're forced to do sprints during those phases, fitness finds you. But somehow, after you play sports in college, as you're training to play sports in college, and then beyond college, when you're not playing sports competitively anymore, yes, you kind of find fitness, and it takes a different light in your life, I believe. So I've been training, running hard, lifting my whole life. But I think for me, really, when I got to high school and college, and then really took on a life of its own post college. So it's just always been integrated into my life. Early riser, hit the gym, 5, 6 in the morning kind of guy. I grew up in New York. I'm here in New York. I have spent about half my career in venture capital, investing in consumer businesses, mostly consumer luxury. Spent the other half actually operating, scaling high growth companies. Prior to this business, we founded a private jet business that we scaled pretty big and IPO'd back in the summer of 21. And since 2018, been running Flexit, which has been by and far the most enjoyable business that I've been a part of today, just because it ties into that passion for fitness. One thing anecdotally that I think is so,
you know what I mean? All the other fancy stuff, but fitness is so gives you the vibe, keeps you here.
I echo that, because I don't think there's another industry that I've been a part of where pretty much across the board, everyone who's a part of it is passionate about the space. right? I mean,
Totally.
have you seen that? Because you've been a part of so many different businesses. Have you seen that echoed in any other industries?
Yeah, everything for mine has been fitness orientated. I guess my learnings recently is more the fact of going outside of, I guess taking our fitness content to other media outlets like telcos and stuff. And if I'm honest, finding them so unpassionate because they don't have, you're not. I think the power of what we do in terms of change behavior, in terms of living healthier lifestyles, you wake up and you feel good about what you actually impact on. Like, ramming a little bit more content down people's throats when you don't know the impact. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not challenging all the media businesses that we work with, but it's a different proposition, isn't it, to get out of bed in the morning? Put it that way.
Absolutely, and it's like to be able to to go to the gym in the morning and then work with the clubs that you're working with, or to be consuming some of the right out of the genuine curiosity and interest in the products. I think that's something that's very special about this industry we share. So that's my kind of experience with fitness.
Yeah, and look, from a I guess from a Wexer point of view, we've seen a real shift from huge, from a content point of view, huge from on demand 50K type production levels to all about relevant trainers, relevant content producers. Delivering is the key aspect for success in this place, and that's what you guys do so well. Like is that what you're seeing? And now you've always been a very, very localized business, essentially scaling that personal trainer, right? Or physio or nutrition. But like, are you seeing the same thing that we're seeing from a platform point of view?
Well, one of the things I love about how our business has evolved is in the first phase, we were tied to geography, meaning we were tied to, so what we were doing was we were powering non-member access on a pay-per-usage basis to gyms across the country, which meant that to consume our product, you could use it wherever you were, but to actually go and consume the service, you had to be near, you had to be in the proximity of some of the gyms on the platform, right? Which your Blink, your Golds, your Choose EOS, whoever it was. Now, with what we're doing today, it doesn't matter where the trainers are. And we've got trainers on 5 continents and covering 24 hours a day. We call it time zone efficiencies. But oftentimes the client and the trainer don't even know where one another is based until they're a few sessions into their work together, right? We're not confined by it. From a content perspective, the professionals are the content here. So the professionals have to be really good. Now, we're not in the business of clubs with our professionals, but I think the same thing goes for clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Today, more than ever, and if we take a step back in time, SoulCycle physically and metaphorically put the trainer, the instructor, on a pedestal, right? On a pedestal, on the bike, but metaphorically catapulted these folks into pseudo celebrity status, right? Large Instagram follower counts. That's created this new environment where there's a lot of optionality for fit pros. What that means is that retention is more important than ever. And so I think that the content, and if it's a live experience, whether it's a group X class or a one-on-one, that talent is what is going to bind the consumer. That's true for our product. It's true in the clubs, right? Personal training, tried and true for years and years, right? And so it's so important for us, same thing for the clubs, to hold on to really good talent, to prioritize really good talent, to nurture talent. Clubs have a platform, right? Which is amazing, but the talent will take the client. So it's really important to form long-lasting relationships. And that's what we try to do. I think maybe the most overlooked innovation to our platform, under-discussed, is that we don't care what follower count a trainer has. Okay. Sure. We don't care where the trainer lives. We want really good trainers who are not focused on doing anything other than showing up, delivering a great session, and helping prepare the client for the next session. We've removed the obstacle of the sales and marketing for the trainer. Let the trainers focus on training because that's what they're really good at, and let's let them shine. So the trainers are the content, prioritizing really good content in a world where there's such a dilution in content, YouTube videos, and there's so many options out there. It's really important for the fit pros to shine, and for the platforms, whether it's our platform or the clubs as a platform, to really harness that.
Yeah, and considering our listeners, 90% of our listeners are within the fitness industry, do you think and be honest with me here, Austin, do you think as a let's call them platforms rather than gyms, do you think that as platforms they're doing enough to enhance, embrace the skills and talents of their celebrity trainers, or are they just going elsewhere?
So I think there's a few things to unpack there. And Paul, you know me well enough by now over the years to know that I'll only lay it on you honestly. So I think there's a myth that the world has gone back to the gym. Well, if we just look at numbers in the United States, so there's 60, 70 million members of gyms, right?
Yeah.
Let's just roughly call it only about a third of them go, say, more than twice a week. Less than a third of them even go more than twice a week, week over week, to the club. There's over 200 million Americans between 18 and 65, right? That's a lot of people. Those people should still be moving, and they should be moving at home, outside, going to the gym, going to their apartment gym, whatever it is. What that means is there's a lot of opportunity outside the clubs for platforms to deliver access to wellness experiences.
Yeah.
The clubs have obviously tried and true deep expertise in the space, the science behind how to coach people, to motivate people, to get people to look and feel better. There are definitely a lot of platforms out there that are missing some of that rigor. I think there's great opportunity in the industry for cross collaboration between the two types of platforms, right? One of the things that we've done is we've tried to collaborate with the personal training certifying bodies in our space here. Right? We've done a lot of work with ISSA and the like to make sure that that standards are upheld, that we're always delivering the best and the newest in the way of learnings and education and furthering the education of the fit pros on our platform. So you see a mix. But I think it's important for those that say aren't IRSA companies, that don't come from the industry, to lean on folks who have had that expertise, so that we can be giving people the right level of attention and care from the fit pros.
And one of the roadblocks you just pointed it out. One of the roadblocks that we feel that we get is how do you manage the quality and the making sure that the service is getting delivered when you give them more power over those members on a platform like yourselves. Like how are you managing quality like that at the moment?
How much secret shopping are you guys doing?
Lots.
Let's tell the audience. There you go. All the clubs out there. There's the secret. Paul Bowman just laid it on you. You are always being tested by Wexer employees. And Gainline should be happy about that.
They already know that.
I mean, in all seriousness, some of that's great, but really good standards and practices up front. We like to put people who are experts in training, experts in learning and development in place on our team. People who know much more, say, than me about personal training, who are overseeing, managing, collaborating with us on building out processes and guidelines. I mean, what I hear from clubs is how hard it's been over the last few years to get trainers back.
Sure.
Right. I'm sure you've heard that. Yeah. What we don't have, what we get asked often is like, you guys marketing to trainers? How are you marketing? What are you spending to market to trainers? None. And we've got a long wait list of folks. So we're very stringent. We have a lot of steps that go into that process, which include testing the trainers out, trying them, teaching them our method, having them then give us sessions again. I mean, it's really like a intensive 5 or 6 step process. And every product's going to be a little bit different. So it depends on what you're trying to do. But I think if you lean on people who are experienced in the space and you set the structure and guidelines up front, then you can make sure that you have the right professionals doing the right thing.
And really, and again, I'm just coming from a Wexer point of view, but I'd love your point of view, is that, we only see, maybe 1 or 2% of things when things go rogue, right? But what we also see the fact that if we make it feel like their own business, it's their own brand. It's not. They're following them. They're following that. That's the channel that you're engaging from a media point of view, or however you want to do it. So they're far more engaged in terms of delivering a high quality of service because their reputation's at stake. So we don't see as much of it as an issue that everyone kind of highlights. And that's why I wanted to see if you see the same thing.
The platforms opens up the opportunity for the professional, which is amazing. Professionals need the platform. The platform will bring them people. The platform will help them to stay employed. But when you think about why a customer is going to stick, it's because they develop a deeply personal relationship with that trainer. I mean, I think it's fascinating the things that people will tell their trainers, right? They pull their life story out to them. That's powerful. If the trainer's on vacation, someone would rather stay connected virtually to that trainer than to train with someone that they don't know, who doesn't have that personal connection with them. And so I think it's really important for us at Flexit, for the clubs with their trainers, to make sure that they're prioritizing that. You have to treat that delicately, because there's no shortage of platforms now in this post-pandemic environment where the professionals can go. So we think it's very important to cultivate and retain that talent and make sure that it's about the connection between the talent and that individual. It's not about the platform. The platform is providing for the opportunity for the professional and the right client to match, right? If you think about it like dating, right? Two people are not necessarily going to be right for each other, right?
Yes.
And the prospective customer and the trainer are not always going to be right for each other. We got to work to find the right people for the right trainer. And so that trainer's personality, their ability to relate to that customer, that stuff's tantamount.
Yeah, agreed. No, I agree. Okay, I'm gonna shift some gears, because you've been a very successful businessman, and you've actually done very, very well at raising capital. And I know a lot of listeners are in that process right now. So talk to me about you've raised a lot of cash over your time in terms of from VCs or the rest of it. What's your method for success, if you could kind of like put it in a nutshell in three bits of advice?
Yeah. I would be very, very transparent and overly communicative. I think that is absolutely essential. It's a long life. I learned this very early on. I started raising capital at 23. And it's a long life. And if you're transparent and you do the right thing by people and you communicate with them each step of the way, where your business is at, how you're handling the responsibility, and it's a lot of responsibility, right? People trusting in you, then regardless of where and how things go, that will be meaningful and people will respect that. That's one. I think it's absolutely essential to look at money as not just money, but to work with the right people, the right partners. I'm sure you've seen that in the businesses that you've been a part of. And if you do that, you make everything for yourself smoother. It can be tempting, especially in a difficult fundraising environment like we're living in now, to maybe take capital anywhere. If you're really early on, it can be tempting to take capital from any source. You want to be very careful about who, so to speak, you're getting in bed with, because these are long-term relationships. And usually the way it goes is, if someone's on your cap table, they're on your cap table for the duration of the business. Right. So that would be the second piece of advice.
And on two, like, is it match kind of value sets, or what do you do in that process?
So I think some of it is about the stage of the business. But I think above all of it, like so much of what we do in business is it's how you get along as people, right? The motivations for somebody getting involved in something are very important. I think warmer affiliations and connectivity are really important here. I dissuade. I do a lot of coaching and mentoring, some funds of entrepreneurs, specifically at Columbia Business School, my alma mater. I really dissuade people from doing anything cold on the financing front. As an entrepreneur, if you can't figure out how to get to someone that you want to talk to warm through someone or multiple other people, right, you're not playing in the right game. So keeping it really warm. And then my third one would be something that is probably a saying that folks who know me have heard me say ad nauseum, but I believe no means not now in business. And I think in let's call it traditional venture financing, it is absolutely essential for the entrepreneur to take the perspective of the door's always open, and to know, because it takes so much time to get to know people really well, to decide, both you and the investor want to get in bed together. The treat no's is not now's. Stay in touch with people, right? Because you can turn a no into a yes all the time.
100%.
So those would be my three.
Nice. I think that's really, really solid advice.
Yeah. The other thing I think is important is just it's more art than science, right?
Yeah. And now I'm completely going off script. Like, what you've had multiple successful businesses. Like, what do you think are the key ingredients for you as a leader? Because you are one of the most transparent people I've met, which I think why we get along so well. But I know that's probably a big part to it because you lead with transparency, but what else?
Well, I appreciate that. I think how you treat people is really important. It's like I said before, it's a long life. As an entrepreneur, and like what gets me going is building and creating, and I want to build and create all sorts of things, and want to continue to always do that. It's a special environment. I think that entrepreneurs can relate to each other in different ways that other folks can't. And so to that point, I think that a relentless belief, not in necessarily ideas, but in yourself being, if you're a solo founder or if you have co-founders in your team and your founding team and your stakeholders, a relentless belief in that is absolutely essential. It's required. I believe that you should not have a relentless belief that your idea will work, because your idea will change, right? The Wexer concept has morphed over time. You've learned, and that helps set you up.
6 different pivots
for good measure and quite awesome success. And I again, congratulations on the recent exit for you guys. So you work long, you work hard and smart, and keep your head on a swivel. For me, I try to never let anything go to the next day that can be knocked out today. I'm a big believer in. I'll leave it at this, which is work-life integration. I don't believe in balance. I don't think that's a thing here in the world of entrepreneurship. But if you work long and hard, good things will happen if you treat people right.
Nice. No, good advice. Great advice.
Okay. How would you, I like to ask questions. How would you answer?
Yeah. Before this, by the way, for everyone that's listening, he was pretty much interviewing me, and I'm going, oh, this is a role reversal. Hit me. You go on. You get a question.
What would your advice be to aspiring entrepreneurs? Or what would you, you've had such a successful career. What would you attribute your continued success to?
For me, it's the team, and sometimes if I'm real honest, and I don't usually, I'm not usually asked. Sometimes I feel like
you still have the powerful mic. You still got the real setup here.
You still got the mic. No, but you get a little bit of like imposter syndrome, right? Because yes, you had the idea. Yes, you had the concept, but the thing is, the team actually brought it to life. And I've always believed in the coming from a rugby family and all the rest of it, what you do together. And if you get everything aligned, I kind of see myself as more of a facilitator of ideas with really, really smart people. Like, I don't think, I kind of always consider myself the dumbest at Wexer, if I'm honest. And everyone else is a whole lot smarter. And sometimes I feel like that in the room. But, as long as I can keep the ship pointed in the right direction, as you said, and everyone's working in the same way and truly working in the same way. I know so many people give that advice, but there's a big difference between saying it and actually challenging that. And then just real kind of, I think this is where me and you align, is kind of ultra transparency. I'm always going to call a spade a spade. I'm always going to call out someone. I'm always going to do what's best for the company, because I kind of see that as its own entity and its own person. I don't see it as a money-making thing. I see it as, hey, what we're trying to do is impact many people's lives in the positive. So we have to stay aligned and we have to be truthful to each other. So I guess the team and then transparency and management and I guess growing people, like I think probably one of my best skill set is really just truly actually wanting everyone to succeed and grow. Like, I love it when I see other people leave Wexer or leave other companies that I've been a part of and do amazing things. To me, that actually gives me a sense of pride. And I kind of always take a view of, we're always on a journey together. So, if you feel like there's something that you need to go do from an entrepreneurial point of view, then you need to go do that, and we're only on this journey together for that period of time. So I've always kind of been quite aware of that.
Yeah, I think at high growth, fast paced startup, or, out of that phase and you're moving really quickly, good mentorship, cultivating talent can be something that's hard to find, because everyone's moving a million miles an hour and there's not as much structure. So, people are fortunate to be able to get that from you, because it is so uncommon to find in the types of companies that you build.
Yeah, well, and it's I didn't realize that, because I just manage how I manage, and a lot of I've learned from my father and stuff as well, who was always a good mentor to his people. So, but it's such a key thing, because you just don't realize how much people can actually do. Not what everyone says on a CV or what university they went to. Sometimes, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I think, always says it well. But the big thing is the willingness to learn, and it's amazing if you actually give people clear responsibility, which get enforced, and you support them in how much they can deliver. It's powerful, eh?
For sure. Well, I won't steal your thunder here. So we can flip the script back here.
You can. When you do a podcast, you can interview me. No, but look, hey, I really want to get your, and I know it's such a generic question, so I was trying to find a way to not make it so generic. But where do you see us evolving? Thinking about impact of AI, impact of, God, even the Apple Vision Pro. Do we what our philosophy has always been, when we're trying to do change behavior or engage with fitness or trying to be improve wellness, it's all based off confidence. So from low to high confidence, and depending where you are on that scale is depending on the intervention that you need to be able to get to higher confidence. Do you think that kind of plays a part, or what's your view of the future in terms of all the technology changes that we're on the cusp of right now?
I think the confidence piece is important. I think it's something that we can grow people from one end of that spectrum to another. I think it's two buckets. I think it's personalization, and that trend has been open, right? We've been living in it for a while, but I think the one where we have been in it, but not as much as we need to be, is in cross modality or cross functionality. What I mean by that is more intertwinedness between, say, what you're doing in the kitchen and what you're doing in the gym. More connectivity from fitness to broader health, right?
Yeah.
So when I think back about what we're doing, there was telehealth, there was teletherapy, there was Zoom, there was a live two-way function for meetings, for socializing, for medicine, but not for fitness. Live two-way wasn't a thing. It was pre-recorded, it was live stream, it was the type of stuff you could consume from a Wexer. And I think that as we look forward, now all the rage is the GLP drugs, the prescription weight loss medications, right? Yes. So Wegovy, Ozempic, we'll have ingestibles on that stuff soon. And what I find so fascinating, and I use this example to just highlight this concept that long-term holistic health, bridging the gap between fitness and health, is where I believe that we go next, is think about what happens on these GLP drugs. People go on them, and it's fascinating. They can lose a ton of weight, right? People who are not meeting the BMI threshold are trying to get these medications. But you put the weight back on after you go off. So imagine a world where we incent the right behavior so that you're not short-circuiting the system, but you're actually learning the right behaviors. Your confidence is growing, as you were just describing, so that you can work out, so that when you go off these medications, you can stay where you want to be. So I think it's going to be enhanced personalization. AI is already helping us to get there, and we'll continue to press the envelope on it. It's amazing seeing so many AI tools pop up in our space, even over the last couple of weeks. And then on the heels of that, I think that it's going to be fitness. And we've seen nutritionists at clubs and vitamins and supplements delivered through clubs and all that. But it's really creating a more holistic health ecosystem.
Yeah. So essentially, it's all us working together, right? Rather than, because we're still so in silo. It's actually interesting, and I'm really impressed with Liz Clark, who's heading up her. She's trying to engage with the nutrition side. She's trying to engage with the wellness side. She's trying to engage with, the physiotherapy. It is a cross collaboration, because if you and this is where I think some of those, like Exos actually, treat people like how you would treat an athlete. And if we can deliver that at scale, then you get nutrition, mental health advice, all of this stuff. You serve the whole spectrum of what holistic wellness actually is.
I think that's the last piece, is accessibility. If we can help more people to access things and not be priced out of these types of services, then it's not just everyone. Hopefully everybody can work out, not just this, the portion of the 70 million Americans who have memberships to clubs.
Nice. Yeah. And then for the fitness operators listening to you right now, so many of them are going through I don't like the word hybridization or, essentially digital transformation, but like what would be your advice to them in terms of just more the people factor, like in terms of managing the people and the change of this? Because it's becoming more and more dramatic. And I think a lot of operators thought, hey, look, I'll create an open infrastructure and have a CRM system, and that's all I need to do. But it's just wave after wave in terms of how they have to develop their overall offering. Like, what would you say from a people factor advice to them would be?
I think that the clubs ought to lean in a little bit more and embrace the concept that technology can be accretive to the club experience. Clubs are really good at what they've been doing. They've been doing it for a long time. But the future's, we hear this, the future hybrid, not hybrid. Across everything in our lives, technology is helping to enhance our lives. So let's enhance what everybody's doing, whether you're working in the club, you're on the corporate side, right? Let's arm people with technologies to make these experiences better.
Yep.
And that can mean many things.
Totally agree. Using it as an enabler. Okay, and then I want to say thank you for jumping on the Wexer podcast. I feel like we could. I feel like we need to do like a part 2, but let's see how the viewership goes first, Austin. But I definitely feel like we need a part 2.
How many people have come on for a part 2? So far?
Actually, none. We haven't had a part 2. Do you want to be the first part 2?
I'm sign me up for the first part 2, and I was going to say if you've had a couple part 2s, sign me up for a part 3. The part 2 will dig into whatever you want. No filter.
Yes.
Part 3, I'll be interviewing you on your podcast.
Deal. I'm sure the team would actually like that. But how do people get in contact with you, Austin?
So Flexit, flexit.fit on the web, also in the App Store. You can reach out to us at info at Flexit, flexit.fit. And you can also reach out to me directly. It's Austin, AUSTIN, at flexit.fit. And Paul, thank you. Jokes aside, big fan of the businesses that you've built over the years. Big fan of what you've done at Wexer. Big fan of the folks at Core and Gangline. And, just keep up the awesome stuff that you've all done for the industry.
Austin, thank you very much. Well, thank you. We're all playing a part, eh? But look, really, really appreciate your candor and your transparency as always, my friend.
For sure.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.